Thanks to those joining me live and to those that be joining me on Archive D-Style Boxing here. I'm being joined by Joe B from Ringside Reporter, Boxing Wave. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, and also G Funky Boxing as well. This is roundtable number 45, man. There's been a bunch of them. And we're nearing the 1-year anniversary of this show. It's back on the channel for this week, and next week we'll be back. I believe we'll be on Maestro, but we'll keep you posted for that. Maestro will not be able to make the show today. Has some personal business to take care of. Shout out to A-Rod83 Book Sale. And let's go ahead and get this one started right now. Evander, real old Holyfield. All right. We'll be fighting Victor Belfort in an 8-round boxing fight. Not an exhibition. It'll be an actual boxing fight. I have not checked if it's a 2 minutes like the Delolia fight, but I'm kind of hoping it is. I saw some footage of him hitting the mitts. It's not the hand speed that worries me. It's his reaction time to Jackson holding a mitt and recognizing where the target is. He's taking too long to think about it. Boxing Way, did he get a chance to see him hit the mitts?
Yeah, I jumped on the video right away. And I was like, I don't like this, man. You know, I mean, he looks to be fit. He looks in great shape for a 58-year-old guy. He looks good, but to compete in a real, boxing match, even though it's with an MMA fighter, but it's one of the wildest strikers in the history of all MMA. I'm not really looking forward to it, and I'm actually very concerned for Evander Holyfield. But I did listen to Victor Belfort's. He did an interview basically saying that he's not going to hurt Holyfield, and that kind of made me even feel more funny about it, But I'm actually really concerned, man, and I don't want to see the fight because God forbid something happen. I don't want to see the fight, man.
Wow. Well said. Joe Beeb, Evander Holyfield, 58 years old, man. Did you get a chance to watch him, hit the mitts?
Yeah, it was very sad and disturbing. Obviously, if the guy wants to work out, let him work out. But if that's what we're going to see in the ring on Saturday, then that's pretty scary. And I think it's going to be a real fight. There's judges, they're scoring it. I'm not so sure it's a exhibition, right? Because they're actually sanctioning the fight in Florida. So this is a real fight. So I don't know how this is going to play out. Are they going to go easy on each other? I just can't see Holyfield going easy, right? Belfort's 44 years old. He's no spring chicken, but he's sure as hell not 58 either. So I'm nervous. And if it was me, up to me, if I was in charge, if I was part of the commission, if I had a vote, I wouldn't license him. This was a guy who, back when he was a pro in New York, he was denied a license for diminished skills. So if, many, many years ago, he had diminished skills and wasn't able to get licensed, I think this commission should be ashamed of themselves for licensing this fight and sanctioning this fight. So I'm not on board with it, and I'm actually worried for Holyfield, to be perfectly frank with you.
Man. Well, I mean, I will say this, though. Holyfield was very I have some exclusive footage of the speech he gave the commission. They originally said no. Okay. Well, before I play this footage, G-Funky, what are your thoughts? Did you get a chance to watch him hit the mitts?
Yes, I did. And unfortunately, Holyfield it just didn't look right. It looked like the timing was really off, and it just looked really, really slow to hit those pads. It's definitely a cause for concern. The man he's going to be a few months shy of his 59th birthday. And I would hate to see him go in there and have something happen, because Holyfield is a legend, man. He's a Hall of Famer. And I would hate to see something happen in the ring, especially for a fight that, I mean, if it is an exhibition, if you get hurt for a fight that doesn't even count, so like I don't like it, man. I don't like what I'm seeing from him. It could be maybe I'm a little overprotective because I was a big Holyfield fan as a kid. He's always going to be my all-time favorite heavyweight to watch. The guy was a warrior. always came to fight, never quit. Even coming back from the heart problems that he had and all those things. So Holyfield will always have a special place in my heart, and I would hate to see the guy get hurt, you know. And I have to question what they're doing down there in the Florida Commission to allow this guy to fight. I just hope nothing but the best for him, man.
I mean, everyone's talking like it's a funeral. I mean, but hey, Punch, how you doing, brother? How you doing, man? How are you feeling about, Evander Holyfield? And what are your thoughts about him hitting the mitts? Should he be licensed to fight? What are your thoughts?
What's up? What's up, guys? What's up, guys?
What's up, bro?
What's good, my Harlem brethren? West Coast of the building, Midwest. What's good, y'all? I don't know, man. Just by looking at him in the pads, man, it just seems like, man, it's just slow. It's not sharp. Then you listen to him in interviews. True School Sports had an interview with him. It's like slurring his words. It's like it's I think it's everything, And then you compare. People like to compare stuff. You compare what Mike Tyson was doing, right? How he was training. He was just ferocious. Looked like he turned the back. The back. How you say it? He turned the
clock.
Yeah, he turned the clock, yo. Just the imagination that Mike Tyson gave you, that once he was going to fight, it was like, yo, we might see that guy again. Like, oh my God. He gave us an imagination, but Holyfield is not giving that type of imagination. He's giving us like, yo, my man, that's it. Sit down. You know what I'm saying? We love you, but please sit down. And I mean, this is just this defines how much we do care about Holyfield. A lot of people saying the same thing. A lot of people saying the same thing. Maybe he's jerking us. Maybe he's doing a little bit of what Tyson Fury does to us, right? Maybe like, yeah, I'm slow, Vitor Belfort, I don't got it. Yeah, and then but nah,
I hope it's an act. I hope he's acting. You know what I mean? I mean, that would be a very smart game plan, I guess, but I don't know. Boxing Wave said it right. I don't know how to feel about this MMA guy saying, oh, don't worry, I'm going to take it easy on Holyfield. I'm not going to hurt him. Like, that's kind of sad, man. It really is. I got some footage, by the way, from him talking to the commission. So just so everybody understands.
Like Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, it was something like that. It sounds like kind of like deja vu, like I've seen it before. It's something like.
We're sorry. We're gonna have to deny you the license to fight Vitor Belfort. You're too damn old.
Yo, don't I got some rights?
What rights do you think you're referring to?
Rights, like in that official paper that they wrote down the street there?
That's the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, the Bill of Rights. Don't it say something about going after what makes you happy?
No, that's the pursuit of happiness. But what's your point?
My point is I'm pursuing something and nobody looks too happy about it.
But we're just looking out for your interests.
I appreciate that, but maybe you're looking out for your interests just a little bit more. I mean, you shouldn't be asking people to come down here and pay the freight on something they paid. It still ain't good enough. I mean, you think that's right? I mean, maybe you're doing your job, but why you gotta stop me from doing mine? Because if you're willing to go through all the battling you gotta go through to get to where you want to get, who's got the right to stop you? I mean, maybe some of you guys got something you never finished, something you really want to do, something you never said to somebody, something. And you're told no, even after you pay your dues. Who's got the right to tell you that? Who? Nobody. It's your right to listen to your gut. It ain't nobody's right to say no after you earn the right to be where you want to be and do what you want to do. The older I get, the more things I got to leave behind. That's life. The only thing I'm asking you guys to leave on the table is what's right.
Okay, so did anybody change their mind? Are you going to allow him to fight now?
He said the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights. Yo, you know what? Let me just say this. When I saw it, him hitting the mitts, I was like, well, I'm glad that he didn't fight Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson fought Roy Jones. That's the first thing that came to my mind because Mike looks so much younger still, you know? But we'll see. Maybe he's playing it off.
I don't know.
Man,
my issue is like the reaction time, right? It's not so much the hand speed. Like Joe Joyce has slow hands, but he reacts fast. You know what I mean? by John David Jackson, who looks old himself as well, by the way. I didn't even know that was him till they told me.
I'm just glad he had a haircut. I'm just glad he had a haircut.
I didn't even know neither until just now.
He goes like this, and Holyfield's like, come on, brother, that's too long. That's not a good. Okay, I don't think he should be licensed to fight. I believe there's been other commissions that somebody mentioned earlier that have not, already told him diminished skills. He's just not there anymore, and I just don't know how anybody can watch him hit the mitts like that, and I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe Victor Belfort will carry him. Who knows? And maybe that's what Holyfield wants. He's just going to knock him out. Who knows? Okay, but we will see. Speaking of Triller, Jim Lampley has pulled out. He's no longer going to be commentating. All right. Why is not specified as of right now. At least last time I checked, BadLetTook.com reported on this, by the way. He has pulled out of Triller commentary, undisclosed reason. All right. Punch, why do you think he's pulling out? Do you think it's because of Trump? Do you think it's because of Holyfield? Maybe in protest? What do you think it is?
Well, I guess he does. It didn't touch him. The speech didn't touch him. You feel me? He's like, what the hell with the speech? I'm out of here.
Yo, if you don't touch Lampley, if you don't touch Jim Lampley and bring a tear to his eye, you're done.
I necessarily don't really know. I don't know. I don't know why he don't want to do it. I mean, it's just a job, You want to call a fight. I mean, what is it's a moral thing? Like, I'm not gonna call because I don't believe in him getting back in the ring, and I have nothing to do with this, guys. I'm stepping out the door. I don't know. I still do it. I want to be the guy that called the fight, even if it's. I'll be the one to say, right, live, what the hell is Holyfield doing? What the hell? But I guess, I don't know. It's still a check, man. That's your job. I don't know.
Fair enough. Wave. What do you think? Well, what do you make of him just pulling out, and why do you think he did
Probably because of, maybe I'm thinking maybe how people are going to view it, him being on there with Trump. I don't know. Did he get any kind of backlash? Like, I'm really not paying attention to this stuff like that, to be honest. But, I mean, to be honest, like, I think Trump being on there is Trump in his true form. Like, he was a celebrity before this, so him doing commentary on Triller doesn't surprise me at all. It did surprise me a little bit, but I mean, Jim Lampley, I don't know, maybe somebody said something to him and he feels like maybe he shouldn't be on there. That's all. And you know what, Jim, I like Jim on HBO. I like Triller. Like, Triller to me is like the hood version of what we get, like, as far as boxing commentary. Like, I want it to be ratchet. I want it to be like no holds barred. Say what you want to say. I like Triller for that. I don't want it to be real. Like when Snoop went on there and bragged about his $2 million that he won when Jake Paul knocked this dude out. I like that. That's what Triller is for. And I want to keep it that way.
There you go. Okay. Like, you don't go to McDonald's to ask for a steak, right? Like,
Yeah, nah.
G Funky, what do you make of it, brother? What do you make of Jim Lampley just pulling out here of this Triller thing?
Well, it's one of two things. It could be the Holyfield. Maybe he just feels like he doesn't want to see Holyfield take a beating or something like that, and he doesn't want to be the guy calling the fight. Or it could be the fact that Donald Trump's going to be there doing some commentary too. I mean, I don't know his political views, but for me, those are the only two things that I could think of because he signed up to do it before, Like Punch said, he agreed to do a job, but something obviously changed his mind last minute. I mean, we're just a few days away from the event, and now he's saying he doesn't want to do it and he's not going to be there. So it's got to be one or two things, and those are the only two new things that have come up, this week. Oscar De La Hoya getting COVID, pulling out, Holyfield steps in, and then now they announced Donald Trump's going to be there. So it's got to be one of those two things, man. But I mean, I kind of feel what Wave was saying. Like, Triller is that place where, anything kind of goes as far as the commentary. And they had Bernstein there the last time I remember watching an event from Triller, and he kind of brings that kind of serious vibe to it. Didn't really fit in though because it was just kind of all over the place with the people who they had calling the fights. So
They
I
were
was thinking,
smoking on him, bro. They were blowing smoke.
and like I was thinking.
What do you think it'd be clever? What do you think it would be clever if he didn't like, let's say Trump and stuff like that, but use it to his advantage, call the fight like he's going down just like the way the country was going down. He was
Take a shot at him,
right? Make it a comedy stuff.
I was thinking they were trying to just go more like serious with it by having a guy who's been around for so many years calling fights with Jim Lampley, but I don't know, man. Maybe they decided not to do it. I don't know, man. But to me, those are the only two reasons I think he decided not to do it.
All right. Naituku says probably doesn't want to be part of the clown show. So he made this decision the week of the fight. Like, they didn't even know what Triller was. That's what's bizarre to me. B, but what are your thoughts on this? And what do you think? Why do you think he's pulled out?
I don't think Lampley's feeling the card, man. I don't think he likes the card. I think he just starting to mull things over and really look at what he was going to be doing on Saturday. And he said, "Damn, I got standards. I can't lower myself to this level."
Okay,
that's what I'm thinking. And you know what? I get it. I mean, he remembers Holyfield back in the on the HBO days, right? That's what he wants to remember Holyfield as. He doesn't want to see Holyfield like this, right? So that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. All right. Tony Boswell, I appreciate it. He says, much respect. D-Style Boxing and the panel stopped in to show support and hit the like button. 100% working and listening. Shout out to Tony Boswell. Much appreciate, brother. Look, man, I honestly think it has something to do with what we're going to talk about next. And because, I don't know. I mean, I understand he was a big De La Hoya fan, and maybe he felt De La Hoya made it worth it for him. I know that. And De La Hoya made a lot for HBO for many years. He called practically all De La Hoya's fights, I think. So, I mean, maybe that's part of it. I mean, he used to call De La Hoya a beautiful man. That's how much he was a big fan. So at the end of the day, maybe him pulling out and like maybe that was like the only reason he was doing it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Okay? I don't know, but here's what I'll say. All right? We're going to talk about this right here, okay? Now, I've been hearing people say, I don't like politics mixed with my sports and this and that. And look, I understand that to a degree. I do, right? But do we want to get to a point where if someone happens to be a politician of any party, of any country? Because, look, Pacquiao is a senator and he's boxing, right? And we don't think twice about it. You know what I mean? But, it's just the truth. I'm not the biggest Donald Trump fan, but that doesn't mean that I should ban him from ever being on my television. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that he doesn't have a right to comment. If Triller offers him the fight, I have no problem with him commentating the fight. It's not. I'm not going to cancel Triller. I'm not going to cancel whoever's involved with it. That's just not going to be my personal reaction to it. Just like I felt like on the other side, if there's someone that's has a different agenda politically and they use that platform to push it, I support them to do that as well. Because at the end of the day, people need to understand freedom and what being part of a free country really means. And that means, being able to tolerate different opinions, being able to tolerate, someone who you don't agree with being on a platform. That's just the way it is at the end of the day. And, but he might make some political statements. Oh, wow. Really, you already know how Trump feels about shit. So if he says it on Triller, is it going to change anything? Does it change your life? No, it doesn't. That's just my opinion on it. Beeb, let's start with you. What do you think about Donald Trump being on this Triller?
I don't think people should sweat it because Donald Trump was an entertainer before he was a politician. So people know him as that, first, right? So what's the difference? Didn't Mitt Romney go to Pacquiao Mayweather? Right? So, I mean,
Pacquiao Marquez when he got knocked out the fourth fight.
Well, because he went like this.
That's right.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right. That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, what's the big deal? People don't like Trump. They're not going to like Trump. Trump maybe eating an ice cream or whatever. Oh, look at Trump eating that ice cream. Look how disrespectfully he's in. They're going to make an excuse. If you don't like someone, you don't like someone, and you're going to find a reason to hate on them. No matter what they do.
Well,
right?
He did eat pizza with a fork and a knife once. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I just got to be honest, but that's me.
But I don't have a problem with Trump being there, to be honest with you. I'm actually kind of interested to see how he's gonna kind of mesh with everybody else there. It's gonna be kind of fun because it was just like it was fun seeing Al Bernstein mesh with Snoop. I heard 50's gonna be there too.
50 Cent?
Yeah, 50's gonna be there too.
To perform or commentate?
No, he's gonna be doing some commentary. Oh yeah,
That's crazy.
I can't even understand him when he talks. He sounds like marbles in his mouth. Like,
well, that's because he got shot in his mouth. I mean, I think you'd talk like that too if you got shot.
Do I sound like an asshole now? All right, go ahead.
No, but just letting you know.
All right,
but yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna throw it right there. That was a really good. What the fuck did you just say? But
Punch. Expect him to take shots at Mayweather. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me, Punch. Well, what do you make about Donald Trump commentating? On Triller.
I love it. I love it. Trump is back. Mr. 45, Captain Orange America is back. Yes, I'm gonna be entertained. I can't wait. I think he's making boxing great again. Just take me back to the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, Atlantic City, baby. Let's go, Trump. I'm here. I'm paying. I don't know, man. I'm happy. I don't know. I'm a Trump guy. Everybody knows that.
Okay. Right.
I know. Well, you're not going to be my friend, guys. I knew.
It's what it is.
Doesn't bother me, man. Doesn't bother me.
They like, damn,
Punch. I voted for him. I voted for him.
Hey,
I mean,
I didn't vote for him.
Can you imagine
better than Biden?
Hey, Sleepy Joe, can you imagine if that's what I was saying earlier? You could use it to your advantage if you're commentating with him. Like imagine Donald Trump be like, hey, he goes down and he's trying to climb back up. He's trying to climb the wall. He's trying, what I'm saying?
But punch. At the very least, right? At the very least, Trump is funny as fuck.
He's entertaining.
He's funny as fuck.
Yeah, he's entertaining.
He could be funny. He could be. I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say he's one of the top comedians on the planet now. I don't know about that. You know what I mean? But
he's just funny without even trying to be funny. Sometimes he's one of them dudes.
Okay.
I think that maybe combat sport it has its its fan base. Like when he's in the UFC, people like him.
Oh yeah.
When he went to the Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal, he got a pop.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So. There is a hate and there is a love. Maybe the media don't want to show it, but I think that in this situation, probably you're gonna get some both, some of them both. But he's must see TV.
50% of the country loves him, right?
Hey,
half the country loves him.
Hey,
I would say
close to half.
I think in this setting, this is like what Wade was saying. This is his setting. This is he's an entertainer. At the end of the day.
Well, we'll see. Maybe his dentures don't fall off. We'll see. You know what I mean? But Wave, how are you feeling about it, brother?
Like I said before, I think I'm not thinking too much into it. I think people, the whole politics thing is, you got to remember, this guy was before 4 years ago, he was kind of just like a celebrity. I mean, he had his own TV show. I mean, everybody knew who he was. I think that he should just be himself, and I don't think the politics is going to play a role in this. I think he's just going to be Trump in his true form. And it should be good that he's going to commentate the fight, because I think he's going to actually talk about the fight. I think he might slip some jokes in there. He probably going to talk about Biden a little bit and stuff, but I think Trump is going to be his actual self, which is not a bad thing to me, because he's going to be himself, So, I mean, this is a boxing event. This is not him talking about the country, So I personally don't have a problem with it. I want him to just be, if he's going to go up there, I don't think this is going to be the time where he's going to discuss politics. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think he's going to go up there and just be himself. And I think what a lot of people that disliked about him is that he was himself and not a politician. People don't, he was a president, but there was points where people wanted him to act like a president instead of being Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, those 4 years, He was himself all the way through. So sometimes his delivery is what was one of the biggest issues. So I don't think a boxing match is where we're gonna be like, oh, he's talking about the country. Nah, it's not gonna go like that. He's gonna be himself up there, and that's it. You know, that's my thoughts on it.
I think he's gonna remind people. I think probably that night he's gonna remind people what he is. You know, people gonna be like, okay, this is Donald Trump. Why we overreacted? This is this guy. I think that's gonna happen.
I just need him to wear that L like that, like a scarlet letter, though. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. But Chief Funky,
no, these style, he'd probably be like, "Come on, man, throw in the towel like it did in Puerto Rico, man. It's over."
Yeah, I'm saying, you know what I mean? But Chief Funky, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't actually have a problem with it as long as he sticks to the script, you know, and keeps it boxing. Like, I don't want to hear like a political infomercial or anything like that. You know, if he's planning on running again, like, if he's there for entertainment value, then damn it, let's be entertaining, you know. But I do feel like there's going to be a lot of backlash from a lot of fans, because, you know, his supporters were saying things like, well, you know, like when the whole Colin Kaepernick thing happened, they were like, well, we don't want politics involved in sports. You know, I don't want to see that. And then, like, when the NBA players were taking knees during the national anthem, and, you know, his supporters were getting upset with that. So, like, he's going to have to keep his politics out of the sports then, or they're going to get attacked for that. You know, you're like, well, look at this guy, you know, he's doing what he said, what his fans don't like and stuff like that. But as long as, like I said, as long as he just sticks to boxing, keeps it funny, keeps it entertaining within what they're going to do, then I don't have an issue with it at all. You know, like I said, I just don't want to hear like I said, a political commercial on the air while I'm watching a fight. You know, that's something I don't want to see. But if he just keeps it cool, then I'm cool with it, man. I have no issue.
Hey, shout out to Nando Llamas. Trump definitely going to complain about the scorecards. Thank you so much for the support.
Wrong.
Brother. Much appreciated. It's going to be tremendous. It's going to be a tremendous night. But this I will say, though, okay? And I got to be honest, like, I'm staying firm on what I said at the beginning. I'm not a fan of Trump at all. But the dude could be a commentator for a boxing fight if he wants. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I see I know what you mean, G Funky, but I don't even have a problem with him making political statements or whatever. You know what I mean? Me personally, I mean, it's not professional to do that during a broadcast, right? But we've seen broadcasters do it. Like Bob Costas went on a anti-gun owning, you know, speech on Monday Night Football once, or Sunday Night Football. You know, I'm a gun owner. I didn't appreciate that. You know what I mean? But I disagreed with it. But hey, I felt he had a right to do it and express it if he wanted to. You know what I mean? I just think we need to stop the cancel culture. We need to stop telling people what to say, what not to say, when to say it. I think people should make their own decisions. And if Triller, after this happened, let's say he's too political, and Triller feels that, you know what, we don't want that anymore, then they don't bring him back. You know what I mean? There'll be consequences from Triller if Triller feels that way. Just how I feel about it. Nobody bats an eyelash when Barack Obama shows up, you know, right there, ring, you know, I was going to say ringside, courtside for an NBA basketball game. You know what I mean? And there's people that get mad about that, and I tell them, well, why are you guys mad about that? Just because he's a former president doesn't, or even when he was a president, it doesn't mean he can't go enjoy a basketball game. He's a citizen like everybody else, right? Trump can go enjoy a UFC event if he wants. He's a citizen like everybody else. You know what I mean? He's just more well-known than everybody, okay? And for anybody who wants to be too crazy about it, okay, cool. Every president has bombed countries and killed innocent civilians. So there we go. You know what I mean? So I don't even want to go deep into that. Okay, but with that said, is Triller doing this for pay-per-views to sell more? Is this like something that they're doing
Absolutely
for more attention? What do you guys think?
Hell yeah.
Of course.
People want to hear what he has to say. Whether you're a Trump supporter or not, you know, people are just going to tune in just to see what he says, because people are that into it. People live like this political stuff. They live it every morning. They want to hear what he say. The people that dislike him want to hear what he say. The people that love him want to hear what he has to say. you know, on a regular day. So if he's at a boxing match where it's just pure entertainment, you know, I mean, they're gonna get into it. Absolutely.
And he can always brag that he hosted Tyson Spinks. He could always brag that he did Holyfield Foreman. I mean, he's got these accomplishments under his belt. So, what other politician can brag about stuff like that, right?
Yeah, the Trump.
I mean, he
Plaza
also
was
has
doing
tobacco
big
like Trump
fights.
University, but we're not gonna even go there. You know what I mean? But hey, he has good and bad. You know what I mean? It's all good. Go ahead, Chief Fucky.
No, I was just gonna say, back in the day, Trump Plaza had a lot of big fights, man. So he's
Yes.
not a stranger to boxing, you know.
Not at all.
Holmes Tyson too, right?
Did he wrestle Vince McMahon at
Yeah,
WrestleMania?
WrestleMania 4 and
right.
5 were there too. So
He was in WrestleMania. Yeah, he was in WrestleMania.
Didn't he wrestle Vince?
Yes.
The haircut
the
match.
hair versus hair match.
Yeah.
He actually shaved Vince's head.
Yeah, they sure
Oh, wow.
did.
Well, that's right. Clotheslined them and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and proceed here. No cancel culture, guys. Okay. Tyson Fury says he has a hit list. All right. So this is what he said. He said, "Hey, October 9th." I saw a story, by the way, on badlefthook.com as well. They sponsored the show, I guess. So he said, "Look, I'm gonna beat Wilder, right? And then I'm gonna have a tune-up later in the year because I've been inactive against Dillian White. So he's saying Dillian White's a tune-up. And then he said, I'll be ready for AJ in March. And then I'll fight AJ again right after that. You know what I mean? Back to back. And then he says, and then I want like kind of like a homecoming in Wembley Stadium against Chisora, which is the most random name ever, but he already beat him twice. But okay. I find that very, very interesting. But Beeb, let's start with you, brother.
That's my man, Tyson Fury. But even I can't always.
He's full of shit, though, right?
Yeah, I can't always co-sign what he says. He could, after this fight, retire and just walk away. We don't know what this guy. We don't even know if he's going to go through with this fight, right? We just got to cross our fingers and hope. This is the most volatile guy in the sport of boxing. So we just got to cross our fingers and hope. Let's just get to this fight before we start worrying about all these other fights, right? This guy, you know, misleads people all the time. He likes to just get attention. We know that, and this is more the same from him, right? It's attention-seeking behavior. But I love the guy, man. He's an entertainer. Keeps me laughing. I think he's the best heavyweight in the world. I think he's going to beat Deontay Wilder. I don't think Deontay Wilder is looking good in those training videos. I don't know why he keeps putting that stuff up there. He's not really making anyone have any more confidence in his chances in this fight. I don't think he's going to win this fight, but I could be wrong. But I think Tyson Fury is going to do the job again, and we'll see what happens. He could walk away after this next fight. So let's see how it plays out.
Okay, all right. Wave. What do you make of him making this whole list? And it'll be the most active he's ever been, really. I mean,
listen, I don't believe in any schedule right now. You know, you put out a hit list. I'm like, same thing. You know, B just said, can we at least get through this fight? Because just a few days ago, people were questioning whether or not this Wilder fight was still happening because there was there's been no promo for it.
Yeah.
You know, and it seems like, you know, if Fury is not saying anything about the fight, no one's talking about it. Not from his camp, not from Wilder's camp. No one is really talking about it. The only person that I see talking about it is Eddie Hearn, and he has nothing to do with the fight. Eddie's out there talking about it. Who's on the PBC side that's giving public information about this? No one. You know, is anyone on Top Rank or BT or anybody else? Like, now my thing is this, is I don't want to get it confused here. As a boxing fan, I do not care about what money these guys are making. I don't care about all of that. Like, that's one thing I just don't care anymore. I don't care if they don't promote it at all. As long as the fight goes down, so we can figure out this whole WBC thing. That's all I care about. I care about Undisputed. I know what's going on with Joshua and Usyk. They got to tangle. They got to do everything they have to do on their end. If they don't want to promote this fight at all, that's fine with me. I don't care about the viewership. I don't care about the pay-per-view buys. I don't care about the live gate. I'm not going to the fight. Just have the fight so we can move on with our lives and move on with the heavyweight division. As far as a hit list, I mean, just like he said, Fury might win and retire. Like, we have no idea, you know, and does stuff ever happen on time in this sport, especially this year? Nothing has happened on time this year. So that's my views on it.
G Funky, what do you think of Tyson Fury, his hit list, and like I mean, think about it. It's going to be Wilder, a tune-up against White, AJ, and then a homecoming fight against Chisora, right at the very end for some reason. What do you think?
I mean, if he can do something like that, that would be great. But I don't think so. I think Boxwave hit a really good point where he said nothing can be a schedule in the world we're living in today with the pandemic. We just never know what the hell can go wrong. Somebody could get sick, and then next thing you know, you're not fighting that person or whatever. And he also hit another good point about how there has not been a whole lot of promotion for this fight, and we're less than a month away, or exactly a month away from the fight happening. So I think this is a part of it here. I really think this is a part of Fury just kind of getting people excited, getting them to say, hey, look, yeah, he's getting ready to fight Wilder again. It's coming up soon. So that's what I really think it is. With his behavior and his history of behavior of not fighting and pulling out of fights and doing stuff, you just can't go with this list that he's putting out there. Although those are all good fights, and I would definitely watch them all. But I don't think he's going to follow through with all those fights. I just don't. Let's just get past the Wilder fight. Let's get this Wilder fight done first. Whoever wins, and then we go from there,
All right. Okay, that's fair enough. Punch. Well, what do you make of his hit list, man? Are you buying it or selling it?
I think that's the problem. I think a lot of people is not buying this. Yeah, I don't buy it. I think with Tyson Fury, it's just it's become over marinated. His way of the way that he's dissing. I think he's one of the best trash talkers in the game, right? But at this point, to be honest, I think that the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury thing for me is not working because I just never seen where marketing wise villain versus villain wins. And I think that's what's happening right now. It's like, what the hell with Tyson Fury? What the hell with Deontay Wilder and his pad work? And I think everybody is feeling that type of, like, man, just beat each other up, get it over with, and bye, go away. I think a lot of people is having that type of feeling towards this fight. So they're not promoting the fight. Deontay Wilder's really not promoting the fight. Tyson Fury and his people's not promoting the fight. The fans see it. The fans know about it. Do they really care? Do they really want this fight? It's been an over-marinated trash talk for almost 2 years. And I think what y'all saying, man. I think it's we just wanted to get it over with. I don't think nothing about his list. For me, I was like, yeah, whatever. That's just Tyson Fury talking again. And I think it's getting to that point where it's like that. Yeah. It's Tyson Fury talking again. There is no muscle behind anything he says, nor a Wilder. So I think I think a lot of people is kind of turned off by now. I think so.
Yeah. Look, Tyson Fury. I'm sorry, babe. Okay. Tyson Fury. All right. It's not going to go through this list because even if he meant every word, like, let's say he's honest, let's say this is his plan, which I doubt, but let's say it was, right? He ain't going to get past AJ. So he's going to lose that fight. So when he loses that fight, that's going to derail the whole plan. Okay, AJ will become undisputed champion, and it will be a wrap because he's going to beat the Ukrainian cat, okay, Usyk, and then if Fury, all right, finds a way to not play games after he's done with Wilder, if he does in fact get through that, which I don't think is a guarantee still. I think Wilder is extremely dangerous still, right? But if he gets past Deontay Wilder, he ain't going to get past AJ. Babe, he ain't going to beat him. Sorry.
He won't fight AJ after he fights Wilder, though.
No, he says he's going to tune up with White, and then AJ.
He'll fight White first.
Yeah, so that's the plan.
Like I said, I think he'll get past AJ, but I mean, some people see otherwise.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
You see how that was a downer? You see, guys? You see how we were talking about Trump, and then we were talking about Tyson Fury, and then look at everybody's
Let us down. You let us down.
Right?
He lets everybody down. He doesn't get the job done, just like
at
Trump
least-
in the re-election. He can't get the job done.
At
He
least
can't
we
win.
know. At least we know Trump will fire you up one way or another.
That's what I'm talking
Okay.
Whether it be happy or anger, you're gonna get fired up when Trump's.
Yeah. That's it. Tyson Fury can't do that. Anything. Yo,
Can't do that.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury gets you all excited. He's the guy that says, "Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Ready? I'll come pick you up." And never drives by with the car, never picks you up, man. You stay waiting on him for hours and hours and hours, right?
Yep.
Stand you up. I thought we was going out tonight, Tyson. No.
Hey, I'm just telling you. I'm just letting you guys know he ain't gonna get past AJ. I don't think he wants to fight AJ. I think I know why. He can't beat AJ.
Has gained more fans for AJ. Right?
Oh wow. Well, you mean Tyson Fury is gaining more fans than AJ?
No, I'm saying like the situation with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury.
Right.
How, they have frustrated fans.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
they have their ways.
I think all
right now
three
has
guys
been-
are linked, though. I think all three guys are linked together, man.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
always
yeah,
gonna be- they're always going to be linked together, all three of them.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Look, all I know is that Tyson Fury is obviously he's full of shit. I don't think he's gonna do anything. All right. I want to get to this topic right here. Okay. Amanda Serrano, who just recently won a fight, the whole controversy with her trainer, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. But nonetheless, she won. Eddie Hearn had some nice things to say about her, saying that she's put her name out there, et cetera, et cetera. But the question is, should Eddie Hearn, aka Matchroom and the Zone, right, pay Amanda Serrano at least $1 million to step in the ring with Katie Taylor? Let's start with you, Boxing Wave. What do you think? Should they give her the million? Should they give her the cheese?
Absolutely. I think it's one of the two biggest fights that could be made in female boxing right now. Women's boxing right now is, people are talking about it more now than ever. People are aware now. Like, that's the person that people want to see Katie fight right now. The timing is perfect, and Amanda's coming off one of her, well, I think it is her biggest purse with the Jake Paul on the card fight. And do it, man. Do it. I think it's big. This is the time to do it. I don't think there's any other time. Whatever criticisms you have of her, or Katie or whatever, listen, invest. This is the investment you got to make. These opportunities right now, you got to do it. Make the fight happen right now, because it's one of the two biggest fight. You got the Clarissa Shields with what's her name?
Savannah Marshall.
Savannah Marshall.
Yeah.
I actually was supposed to do a video on that today. You got that fight and you got this one. These two, you gotta let them fight, And Serrano, she's been in there for many, many years now. At this point, she's earned a big money fight, and it'll answer a lot of questions. In fact, I don't know how people were viewing this fight a few years ago, but I like Serrano's chances of winning too. I like it. I want to see it. I definitely want to see it, man. So I like it. Pay her the money. Pay her the $1 million. Hopefully he's not just bluffing. Hopefully it's a real thing. And I think she's worth it. Especially for that caliber of a fight. It should at least be $1 million fight for both sides. That's the right thing. If this is the biggest fight in women boxing, one of the two, it should at least be over $1 million to make some kind of statement,
And you know what I was thinking about? It says, "Show me the money." Like I was thinking about Jerry Maguire, right? Eddie Hearn on the phone, and Amanda's on the phone. Like, come on, show me the money. Show me the money. Not show me. Show you. Show me the money. Like, that's what I was thinking about. But here's what I will say. I'll go in a little bit. Chief Funky, talk to me. should they, fork up as from the consumer side? You being subscribed to DAZN, do you think it's worth it for them to invest in this fight and pay Amanda the money she wants?
Well, if the demand is there, then absolutely. Do
you believe the demand is there?
Do I believe it? I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say with women's boxing. I certainly hope they get it. I'm all about fighters getting paid. If they get it, you're not going to hear me complain about it. I mean, DAZN and Matchroom, they sure throw a lot of money around to male fighters who don't draw a lot of money. So I don't see why they can't throw the money at them for it if there's the demand for it, So I hope so. And, they're going to have to do a hell of a job promoting the fight, which I think they can do. We've seen the antics of Serrano's trainer as of late. So I'm sure he's going to go up there and do his best. Ruben Guerrero and Angel Garcia and those type of guys, those type of antics to sell the fight. And maybe they could sell out a place over in, I'm sure it would do much better over in the UK than it probably would here. But I don't know where they would decide to put that fight, but I think it would probably do better over there. I feel like they have a much better audience there for women's boxing than here in the United States. But we know that the real money's here, so we'll see what they do, man. But I certainly hope that they do get it. It's all about the demand at the end of the day. If the fans want it, they're willing to pay for it, then they should fork out the money,
Punch, you've interviewed Amanda Serrano. You've talked to her. You've advocated for her and women's boxing as a whole. But what do you think? I already know the answer, but, talk to us. Should she get at least $1 million? Do you think she should get more? What does Punch Drunk Boxing think?
I've been saying this since day one. Seven-figure fighter. Amanda Serrano, 7th Division World Champion. Katie Taylor, undisputed lightweight. Most decorated champions in not only women boxing, but in boxing in general. I don't even think that it's just one of the best female boxing. I think it's one of the best matchup in boxing in general. Their styles mesh. Their styles is good. Action-packed, knockout artists. High accumulation punches from Katie Taylor. Every skill in the toolbox. Amanda Serrano barbecuing people's ribs and things of that nature. And in terms of in her getting paid, if it's not the value that she never sold this much and she's not worth the $7 million, then invest in this fight. I think this fight should be even invested. If it's not going to be reached, if she's not going to reach $1 million, $1 million because she never made even close to that. Where's that money going to come from? This is boxing. You invest in it just like DAZN invested in Mikey Garcia and gave him $7 million. Just like DAZN also, you got to remember when people say that these women don't sell or Serrano probably didn't sell seats. I was there in New York City when she fought Heather Hardy, and they was co-main event, and they sold the place. Those were their people. When Haney and fought Abdullaev, ain't nobody was looking. Nobody cared about that fight. So for people to say, oh, they never sold seats, nah, they sold that seat. There was co-main event, and they got peanuts for it. So when Eddie Hearn says, this fight could sell in New York City, MSG, and what makes sense, St. Patrick's Day, where it's a big day in New York City as well, it makes a lot of sense because there's the fan base for it. And everybody, a lot of boxing pugilists is calling for that fight and want to see that fight. I mean, this is not a fight that I know they was trying to give it like $200,000. That's $1.2 million in the pot for this fight, for the greatest woman fight in ever. Nah, both of them got to deserve more money, and you got to give kudos to Jake Paul as well for giving her that type of platform that a lot of boxing personnel didn't give her. They didn't stick their neck out to give Amanda Serrano. So I just think this sets the bar. And then you got champions like Jessica McCaskill that's going to get more probably. You're going, Natasha Jonas is still out there, and she's a viable opponent for either. Persoon is still out there. Harper's still there. Makala Mayer coming up. Estrada. It has to be a bar, and this is the fight that sets the tone.
And to add what he just said too, Heather Hardy, I've been seeing her fight in New York for years. People come out every single time in New York. And that's another thing. They need to do better on where they're placing these fights. If they want to sell, stop putting it in random places where no one's going to have any interest in seeing them. You got to put Devin Haney was gonna fight. What's the kid that just lost to Ryan Garcia?
Luke Campbell.
Campbell, yeah.
They were gonna put that fight in like Baltimore or something, right? Before they canceled it originally, it was supposed to be in like in a random place. You know, like sometimes I'm like,
I agree with you because I was gonna say, look at the fight that's gonna come up: Jamel Herring versus Shakur Stevenson, and they got it in Georgia. These guys are from the tri-state area. He's supposed to put this fight in New York. He's from Newark. You're from New York. What they trying to piggyback off Javante Tank Davis' name or fan base, and it's not gonna work. So,
Backfire.
it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
The poll up, guys. I just put it up right now. So far, 56% say no, they should not pay her. But we'll see. It's just started though. Joe Habib, talk to us. Should Eddie Hearn / Matthew / his own give a man at least $1 million, those 7 figures, to fight Katie Taylor? What do you think?
For my own selfish reasons, I'm going to say yes, but let's talk about the business about it. You know, Katie Taylor, she already fought Pursoon twice, right? Fought Jonas, right? You know, what else is she fought McCaskill? What else is out there for Katie Taylor? We need a fresh new face for Katie Taylor. And people have been talking about this fight for a long time. Wave talked about Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. Well, they're over in Sky now. That's the other big fight. So, you know, Sky is going to be the competitor here, right? So you're going to have to outdo them. You don't want them to take the play away from women's boxing because DAZN is really making a statement for women's boxing, right? So they need to make this fight. They need to make this fight because Sky will take the play away from them if they're able to put that Marshall and Clarissa Shields fight on. So you want to be able to, you know, have the premier women's fight, right? And DAZN has all that money. Eddie Hearn has all that money at his disposal. Just fucking cough the money up and just get this fight done because everybody's sick and tired of waiting for it. I think this is the biggest fight in women's boxing. I would rather see this over Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall because I think this will be a more entertaining fight. Because both of these girls are punchers, but they also have skills, right? So you're going to see everything here. You're going to see everything all wrapped up into one. You're going to see boxing. You're going to see punching. You're going to see outside fighting, inside fighting, right? No, not taking nothing away from Marshall and Shields, but this is a better fight.
It's a great matchup.
This is a better fight. This is the best fight in female boxing, bar none, in my opinion.
What they both done collectively too, in their careers. Like Savannah Marshall is, if you look up Savannah Marshall, there's no videos or interviews done with her without including Clarissa Shields. You know, like she hasn't accomplished anything yet. They're just riding this. I beat you in the amateurs 10 years ago. That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
and this has a better storyline too. This fight.
Oh,
better storyline too.
Show me the money. You know what I mean? Like I love to see that, like Eddie Hearn yelling, "Show me the money." You know what I mean on the phone.
Go ahead. And it got the storyline of Katie Taylor beating Cindy. You know, I gotta get that win back.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's drama here, Punch.
Like the trainer even said, "Hey, you fought the wrong Serrano," so they have that whole thing going on.
There you go.
You know what I mean? It's like you know, like the movie Kickboxer. Remember, like Tampo Pete beat the brother, and then he had to go avenge the brother, something like that. But check it out. It just didn't break her back though. Let me say this though. I like how a lot of you are stingy. Like a lot of you acting like that's your money. Like when I'm reading the chat, like I'm just like, what? Like I get you're a subscriber and you pay to watch boxing. Why wouldn't you want the best fight in women's boxing on the network? I don't see you like take out the calculator and become accountant for all the other fights. I just don't. Taking out the like a lot of come on, man. Like taking out the calculator and shit. Well, I don't know. She only got this many people watching, and she made this much, and Katie Taylor made this much. Hold on. No. Hold on. Let me just tell you something right now, okay? Let me give you 2 examples of what this fight reminds me of and what I fear it could become. Okay. So, as you all know, because you're all boxing heads, you're all boxing fans, the people in the chat as well, listen right now, okay? So this day, people debate, like they debate like to the death about Ann Wolfe versus Layla Ali, right? All day. Oh, no, Ann Wolf would destroy her. Now, you're wrong. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Layla Ali would have boxed circles around her, and they debate. You know what I mean? I just fucking wish they fought so we wouldn't have to debate about it. Because they literally fought around the same time. And it's a fight that should have happened. And I wish someone like HBO would have stepped up and said, you know, because the main gripe from Layla Ali's side was Ann Wolf was pricing herself out. That's what caused this fight not to happen. And while we can't go back and watch it on YouTube today, while we have to have this debate about a fight that never happened, that should have happened, which could have also been a big thing. It could have taken women's boxing even more forward, but it didn't happen. If only HBO just stepped up and said, you know what, Ann Wolf, we'll give you $1 million. Just like they paid Berto $1 million to fight on fucking bingo halls against nobodies. All right? But they didn't want to give it to them because she was a woman. That was the main issue, but it's a fight that should have happened. Let me tell you a second fight. Christy Martin, all right, Lucia Riker. For many years, didn't happen. Christy Martin was the draw. Lucia Riker was, she had the skills to pay the bills, but nobody wanted to pay her bills, okay? The fight finally happened, but an injury from Lucia ended up not happening. You know, and they moved on. It's a fight that should have happened. And today, you know, you can ask somebody, they'll say, oh, Lucia Riker is way too skilled for Christy Martin. She would have beat her. No. Christy Martin, you know, she had the punching power. She would have gotten to her. Well, I wish we would have just seen the fucking fight. Because here's what I don't want. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I don't want to be debating with you guys about who would have won, Amanda Serrano or Katie Taylor. Oh, that fight happened. Let me tell you, Katie Taylor would have beat her. No. Amanda Serrano was too much for her. Katie Taylor ducked her. No, Amanda Serrano priced herself out. And I don't want to talk about that. This is a fight that can be big for women's boxing, the women boxing brand, for the brand of boxing itself. We started this show, the Boxing Way, saying that there's not a lot going on in the sport. A lot of non-boxing boxing news. So how about we get this fight? This is a fight that could be big for women's boxing. The DAZN invest. I keep hearing about how Devin Haney's an investment. I've been saying this dude's fighting on subsidized money, okay, since the start of his career. This dude don't fucking pack houses to be making $3 million against fucking Linares. $3 million!
Gamble.
Amanda's asking for 1/3 of that. 1/3, and you guys are taking out your calculators. Devin Haney made $3 million. I'm not even mad at Devin Haney. Get your money. But my point is, I don't want to be mad at Amanda either, right? Get your money. But what about Katie Taylor? Well, yeah, she's gonna get paid too. Like, she's not gonna go broke, right? So that's my thing. This is a mega fight. What is boxing known for? The sport that doesn't give the fans the fights we want. Right?
When we want them. Yeah.
When we want them. Yeah. It's time for the sport to step up. If the DAZN wants to make an impact, this is one way to do it. Right here.
Don't worry about it. We'll get it next year. It'll happen next year.
Hey, and
I ain't worried about it.
And then it could be a rematch.
There
like
you go.
Pursuit and Katie Taylor. Right?
There
and a
you
lot
go.
of people also felt that she lost the first fight.
Yeah, I thought she lost the first fight.
Yeah, I was there. I think she lost.
She lost, right? Wait, you had a losing?
Yeah, I had a loser.
I had a loser. Yeah. I was
I
there, man, and she lost. It was a rough night for the British fighters that night.
She got the
And I just see it if Pursuit could get into Katie Taylor, I think Amanda Serrano's style, athleticism.
Oh, you can make an argument for Serrano without a question. Without a question.
Yeah, it was a rough night. That was the AJ Ruiz fight, Josh Kelly against Ray Robinson fight. It was a rough night all the way through.
That was a good card, huh, Wave?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That was crazy card.
But just to add to everyone's point, just look at the money that the DAZN has thrown out there to get fighters to come over.
Look at that piggyback they got over there.
We talking about
throwing money around, man.
Yeah, and these guys turned them down. I'm like, are you gonna not pay this woman $1 million? Like, come on. I get it, but like some of those other fights, some of the money that we know that went public, you try to get who to come over there for how much, and they turned it down. Come on.
Well, look,
man.
just some comments I got on one of my previous videos, because I made a video specifically about this. Shout out to Nopal, but he said, "Hey, not even Chicolatito and Estrada make that." That just tells me they should make that. That's all that tells me. You know what I mean? Like just because like this idea that they got to get it first before Amanda gets it, right? We know that's not how the sport works. Like I want Chicolatito and Estrada to make $1 million if they haven't in fact made that yet. I want them to get that money. I'm not against them making that money either, and I actually think they should get that type of money.
Yeah.
Right.
Michael Carbajal and Humberto Gonzalez made $1 million for a flyweight fight in the 90s, bro. That's in the 90s. How much factor in the cost of inflation? How much would that be today?
That was
$1 million.
pay-per-view.
That's $1 million.
That was a pay-per-view fight back then too.
That was a great fight, Jake?
It's one of the best fights I ever seen in my life. One of the greatest memories. I remember watching it with my grandfather. Oh yeah,
got knocked down a couple times, gets up and he hits him with that vicious left hook and puts him out.
He's out of there, man. Great memories.
And we're talking about the greatest women fights. We're not even talking about the great potential fight. We're talking about historically, this could be the greatest women fight.
Like you said, if they do 2 or 3 of them, this could be like a big rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Have a series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And these two styles, they mesh perfectly together, right?
I mean, it's always that fight that can catapult. Like
we're gonna get it. We're gonna get this fight next year. I'm not even worried about it.
I mean, who did like remember the UFC? Like it was kind of like, and then they had that fight on Spike TV with Forrest. I forget the other dude's name, and it was like a really exciting fight. And then more people started tuning into the UFC. You know what I mean?
Is that
could do that for women's boxing?
Is that the fight when Forrest lost and he ran out the ring?
No.
Do you remember that fight when he lost and he ran out of the ring? Who was that against? When he fought Anderson Silva?
Run, Forrest, run! I believe so. Yeah.
But look like the UFC when JJ Joanna when she fought Zhang, people wasn't saying that's probably the best women
that was
fight.
An awesome fight.
That was one of the best UFC fights ever.
You
know, nobody said women, nobody said men. This was a fight, bro. 5 rounds, and it was great. Top 5.
That was a good fight, man.
I agree. So like I swayed him a little. 51% are saying yes now, right? The vote is swaying a little bit. You know what I mean?
Why is it even that close? Why is this poll even that close? This is freaking
disgusting.
It's discouraging. It's discouraging.
Why don't they follow the Don King blueprint with Christy Martin? Put it on the undercard of if Fury ends up fighting AJ and it's on his own. Put it on the undercard of that. You know,
man, this may be able to hold its own. I would think. In the right,
Matchroom will, especially if they fork out this money, they're going to put them on a separate card.
In the right venue, this.
But I wouldn't mind this on the undercard. That'll be great.
Listen, I'll take it however I can get it. Man. I want to see it.
Look, I just know this. Okay, dudes become super accountants with some fighters, even though like we're seeing other fighters making. Did it say Mikey got $7 million from the zone?
Vargas,
from the zone to fight Vargas.
7. That's like what Amanda's asking for. You could have 7 Amanda Serrano fights. That's crazy.
And that's no title fight too. No titles on the line. You know, no
pay-per-view
after a loss. Come on, man.
I'm not machistas. I saw some dudes saying, "Oh, like, I don't want to watch women's boxing." Like I mean, it is what it is. But look, to me, this is a fight that I think would be a good investment for women's boxing and for the zone if you want to have that women boxing brand. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's already a lot of women that I've talked to behind the scenes that say, you know what, I want to go to a matchroom in the zone. You know what I mean? That's where I want to go. Yeah. But like if they do this fight, they pay Amanda this, all the women fighters will be flocking over there. Matchroom will have no problem signing gold medalist female fighters after the Olympics. So I have no problem doing any of that. So it is a future investment that they should.
Yeah, and they could do it like this. Like if they don't think that it could carry its own bill and make that much money, like I said, if they put it on the undercard of a big fight like AJ Fury possibly, you get all those eyes watching that fight. And it turns out to be a war like we all expect it to be. Then boom, the rematch. It's on its own. It's the main event somewhere. You know.
I even thought, to be honest, the first time, the first go around, I thought it was disrespectful to have them on the co-main event from Povetkin and Dillian White. I even thought it was like, nah, they shouldn't be no co-main events of Dillian White and Povetkin, you know. But I understand having them co-main event, but I think that fight is a main event. You know, you can have a young fighter like like how we saw this past weekend with Josh Warrington and Lara, and we had Conor Ben, and it seems like that was Conor Ben's fan. You know, you have a young fighter like that on the co-main event. I think it still do good.
Put Campbell Hatton on the undercard.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess.
Conor Ben versus Josh Kelly or something.
And look,
like
if I'm an up and coming fighter, I wouldn't mind being on the undercard of Serrano Taylor. That's more that'll be visibility right there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I wouldn't do what Clarissa Shield did, like just have all women boxing. Nah. Yeah. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, and then the young up and coming phenom fighter, whoever's on the zone side. I think they'll put Conor Ben on the co-main event with somebody. I think it'll do good. Right.
Well, look, at the end of the day, we're at around 51% now. Okay. People can feel however they feel. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, HLD says that Serrano becomes undisputed. That's undisputed Serrano versus undisputed Katie. They both should make more than $1 million fight that sells easy at $49.99. Well, let me ask a hard question though. Obviously,
my fault. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, co-main event, Conor Ben, Adrian Broner. Let's go.
Oh wow, that's a great fight actually. Conor Ben.
I got a question real quick.
That's another guy that was getting a lot of money.
Have any two female fighters accomplished more in the sport of boxing combined?
Nah, that's why I said the most decorated.
No, I don't think so.
Most decorated.
No, that's what I said. Not two.
Is that what you said, Bunch?
Yeah. Most 7 division world champion. Katie Taylor undisputed. Of course, Clarissa Shields, back-to-back undisputed.
Right.
But we all know that they both need each other. Savannah Marshall needs Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields needs Savannah Marshall at this point.
It's a more difficult era too, I think, than previous women's eras. No offense to the previous eras, but they have to really good fighters like Lucia Riker, but
boxing
some of those women
have a bad way of sustaining momentum. That's the problem with boxing. Right now is the momentum. You got to strike right now. We living in today. We living in the fast pace. Just get that fight done. And that's it.
Yeah, there's no schedule. I think that's the problem, man. People just fight when they want to fight nowadays. Yeah.
By the way, LT, we did talk about her that night, brother. Just FYI. I don't joke about people's deaths. Do you understand me? We're gonna move on. Let me say this. All right. Moving on to the next topic here. Oscar Valdez will be fighting Concecao, the Brazilian gold medalist, undefeated fighter. Right. I don't have a problem with him being an underdog, but he's a 10-1 underdog. Like, that is amazing. Okay, like that's like a bigger underdog than like a lot of like Conor McGregor against Floyd. Like that's amazing. Okay, now I know that the way gambling works, it also depends on the betting lines, who's betting, what the trends are. I get all that, but still, 10-1 underdog. All right, Chief Funky, do you think 10-1 is a little too wide in your opinion? Or is it
no,
just
I
right?
I don't. And it's not fully because of, I think Valdez, I do think Valdez is a really, really good fighter at 130 pounds. He's the champion for a reason. He knocked out the big bad boogeyman Burchell, like I told everybody he was going to do. But I think a lot of it has to do with because his opponent is pretty unknown at this point. Very untested. I mean, I know he's got a lot of experience in the Olympics. I think he's went to a couple of Olympic games for Brazil.
Gold medalist, G.
Yeah,
first Brazilian gold medalist in boxing ever.
Yeah, I mean that's great, But I mean, really, it's the experience in the professional is, it's not there. This is a big step up for him, and I feel like the odds, they were probably wide to begin with. I didn't check the line once the fight was announced and all that. But I could imagine there's a lot of people that are dropping money on Valdez, and it probably went up from there. So I really think
it's going down a little bit.
Is it going down now?
Yeah. Conceicao is a plus 800 now. He was a plus 1,000, so it's going down a little bit. Yeah,
go down a little bit. Yeah. So maybe after the weigh-in, what they saw, they thinking maybe drop some money on the underdog. I mean, hey, if he hits, that's a lot of fucking money, you know, depending on how much you put down. So, but I do think it's because, like I said, the lack of competition and is just not there for him. So this is a big step up, man. I think that's probably the right odds.
All right. Hey, Punch Drunk, what do you think, brother? 10-1 underdog. What do you make of it?
I think maybe probably they don't know too much of his opponent. I don't know. I really don't know, man. To be honest, I don't know too much of his opponent either. So I can't comment so much on the 10-1 underdog. So I really don't have no comment on it, really, because I really don't know his opponent like that, and I'm not gonna say, "Oh my God, how the hell they gonna put him on the underdog like that?" You know, I don't know.
Okay.
You know, he could be
That's
manufactured undefeated champion. I mean, undefeated fighter. You know, he could be a manufacturer. So I really don't know, but I think I don't even think a lot of people who was interested about this fight before the drama with the PEDs, and now everybody got their 2 cents about it. You know, I ain't seen no videos
right.
about
Get more
this,
covers
no
than it. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Get more covers than it should have.
I don't know if he got a good hand, a good left hook, nothing. You know, I don't know, but hey, I'm gonna watch the fight though.
Me too.
Okay. All right. Hey, Beeb, talk to us. What do you make of the odds?
Well, he's a plus 750 now, so the odds are dropping. I think what they did was they opened him high, right, just to get some action, right? Get some guys to put some money down on the underdog, right? And now it's steadily going down. It seemed high at a plus 1,000. Now it's down to a plus 750. G Funky is 100% correct. I mean, Concecao only has 16 fights. Valdez has 29, and obviously Valdez is the more known fighter. But Concecao is a big guy. He's a big junior lightweight. He's almost 5'11". He's got a 70-inch reach. He's very versatile. He can fight on the inside. You know, he can fight on the outside. He reminds me a lot of Ugas. I told you that the other day. He reminds me a lot of Ugas, his fighting style, but the difference is he's a lot more active, you know? So I think this fight's going to be interesting, and I suspect that it's going to be very competitive, more so than people are thinking, because of the versatility, because of the size, because of the defense. He's got a real tight defense. He's a good counterpuncher. He's got a great jab. And being as tall as he is, he can still fight on the inside pretty well. He shortens up the shots, goes to the body a lot. And if Valdez did have problems making weight, you know, he got on the scale and there was a long pause and no one said nothing. They didn't announce his weight. Then he got off the scale and there was another long pause. Then he got back on the scale and then it was like 130. It's like, I don't know, you know, and his body kind of looked flat. You know what I mean?
It looked a little soft. Yeah.
It looks smooth. And what does that tell me? Tell me that he had to really kill himself to make the weight because he lost a lot of muscle mass, right? So this fight is going to be interesting. Now Concecao is not a big puncher. Valdez is. Let's see how this thing plays out. This could be like this could be like Ugas Sean Porter, where Sean Porter was throwing the one punch at a time, more or less the power shots, and Ugas was kind of throwing more power shots than more volume and stuff than Porter. So we'll see how this thing plays out. But I think Concecao is live, and I think the odds will probably drop down even more. They may even go down to maybe a plus 600. So they opened up wide, though. I do believe that they did open up wide, but I think they did open up wide because I think they were trying to attract some action for Concecao, and I think they did, because as Punch said, with all the drama of this weigh-in and the fentanyl,
plus 600 is still nice for anybody taking the underdog, you know.
All the drama with the fentanyl and the speculation of him not making weight, you know. And then during an interview with Kriegel, Kriegel asked him, he goes, well, what if you were Concecao? How would you feel? Would you want to fight you? And he goes, yeah, I would be saying to myself, This guy is taking this drug, having problems making weight, and he's taking this drug so close to the fight. That would give me confidence that this guy's having problems making weight, right? That he has to take this drug. So I'm sitting there saying to myself, did Valdez just tell on himself? Did he basically say
He probably did.
You know what I'm saying? Did he just tell himself that he had, was this a rough camp for him? But, so we'll see. Very interesting.
Very, very interesting. Boxing Wave. What do you think? 10-1.
10-1. I mean, I'm more like everybody else. Once I saw this fight was going down, like scheduled, this is before all of the drama started. I really didn't think anything of it. I saw his opponent. I looked him up a while back. Wasn't much footage of him online. All right. But didn't think of anything of it. I just saw like he didn't have a lot of knockouts. He didn't fight the best people professionally, and didn't think anything of it. At that point, I probably would have been like 10-1. Yeah, it sounds about right. No surprise that it's dropping with everything going on. You have to wonder, is Oscar distracted, mentally? What is he going through? How does he feel going into this fight? And now I'm focusing on everything else outside of, now I'm like zero in on this dude. Like, okay, he has a height advantage, he has a reach advantage, he has, now I'm like, okay, maybe something might happen. This might be a good fight, might be a competitive, maybe we'll get an upset. I have no idea. But you got to strike now. I mean, for him, Concecao, I keep saying his name, Concecao, because I heard it, Concecao.
Concecao. It's so hard to pronounce. Yeah.
Concecao. You got to wonder, like, listen, you probably in the best shape that you've been in. You're focused, and this is the time to do it. This could be your night. He might be thinking, this is my night. This guy's going through so much stuff. People are putting his career in question. People are going really far with this Oscar Valdez thing. Got people arguing about Andre Ward and Canelo came out of it, and all this other stuff is going on now. Andre Ward and Canelo and all these comparisons or anything related to Canelo and Andy Ruiz got thrown in the mix. Because I mean, look, I like it, and I'm curious. I want to watch the fight now. I want to see how it goes. But 10-1, too high, and I think that's part of the reason why it's dropping now. And it probably going to drop more. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near that high by the time this is all done. I could see it dropping down to 5. I can see it dropping that low.
Yeah.
5-1. Okay.
You gonna put a little tickle on Concecao Wave?
Thinking about it, man.
Those are good odds, man. It's like
good odds.
I am really thinking about
get
it.
him at a nice plus. Get him at a nice plus 800. Right?
Yeah.
I took Valdez against Burchell at like 425, I think, plus 425. So I mean,
gee, you were a genius in that one. You were a genius in that one.
I had no hope for Valdez going into that fight.
I didn't see it, G. I didn't see it.
Nah. Especially the way he's been fighting lately,
Well, now we know why, because of what he was taking. But here's what I'll say, though. Look, let me say this. I get that the guy should be an underdog, but I don't know. I felt that those odds are a little wide, me personally.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said at the beginning, sometimes there's a method to the madness of betting odds. Like, I understand that the 6-1 for Floyd Conor, which is a lot of delusional Conor fans are betting like hell. You know what I mean? Like that's why they were that close. I don't think that's what the bookies literally felt were the shots of Conor winning. Look, I do think it's going to be a pretty interesting fight. I don't know how tough of a fight it'll be for Valdez, but I will say this. If Valdez looks flat at the start of that fight, and Concecao's pumping that jab on him, pointing him, it could be a long night for Valdez. It's not a guy that's going to stand in front of him like that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very, very interesting.
You got to look at the Adam Lopez fight. The way he was using that jab and timing Oscar early in that fight, that was a good fight. You know, Oscar, I think, got dropped in that fight. I think he even got dropped in that fight.
Look, there's a lot of fights where Valdez looked very, very human. The Mariaga fight's another one. Okay. So if you could catch him on the right night, you can, you could have some success with him. The question is, can Concecao do it? And another good question, obviously, was this too soon? Like to put him in there, because there's really no one like they could say is that step before a Valdez fight that he's fought. Like there's really isn't. There's a big X factor there, a big unknown. So we will see how this one goes. I do want to say this: COVID strikes again, guys. Once again. So earlier in the week, we all know Brandon Figueroa tested positive, so there goes the Fulton fight. You know what I mean? And then Chicolatito got COVID. So for everybody saying, "Oh, eat chocolate, it protects you against COVID," apparently not. You know what I mean? Like Chicolatito got it, okay? And the Chicolatito got it. Chocolate don't help for shit. But let me tell you something. I am extremely disappointed, not at Chicolatito, but just in this situation. It is extremely frustrating. It seems to happen like right when we're getting excited for a fight, someone pops with COVID, and I'm done with the conspiracies. I'm this whole like, they're using it to duck. And let me tell you something, man. This is happening with every promotion, every network / app. Every nationality, every weight class, gender, you name it, it's happening. Okay. Oh, it's he did it because he's from ESPN Top Rank. Well, PBC fighters are getting it. ESPN fighters are getting it. Matchroom fighters, his own fighters, however you want to say it. Okay. This is extremely, it's a very disappointing situation. I think they got to bring back the bubbles that they had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just bring it back. So Wave starts with that. First of all, what's your reaction to Chicolatito catching COVID? So the Strata fight would likely be postponed, right? And what do you think? What do you think should be done here? So we could kind of fix this.
I listen right away. First thing that I thought. Well, let me even take it back to the Figueroa news. When I found out about Figueroa, the first thing I said, and I'm going to include Chicolatito too, this would have been a good time for these fights to go down, being that we're not getting a lot of fights and more people would have focused on these smaller divisions. You're getting Oscar Valdez. I know we got all the drama, but outside of that, we would have had a fight at 115. Which was a unification or a rematch, well, this is the third fight between Chicolatito and Estrada. We would have got that, and we would have got the Figueroa Fulton fight, which is another fight that is a very high level fight, and we would have had it at a good time where we're not getting much stuff in the other divisions, the more popular divisions. And would have been a perfect time. And being that these smaller divisions, one at 122, one 115, people would have checked in, because now at this point, people just want to get some sort of boxing. So the people that are not focused on these smaller divisions, they would have tuned into these two fights. And now that we're not getting them, it's like, damn, like what do we get? If you look at the schedule, this is the worst the schedule has looked in a while. The schedule is pretty poor overall. But I do think we need the bubble. They need to bring that back, because this is getting ridiculous now. And when I watch, Oscar, even though I didn't really care for the fight, I see Oscar and I see Fury, even leading up to the Pacquiao Spence. Well, what we thought was going to be the Spence fight. I just thought, I was watching him and I'm like, man, they're just too much. They're just too out there. These guys are prepping. There's a whole bunch of people in the gyms. He's running around, training, preparing. There's a lot of people involved. And I'm like, man, this is too much. These guys got to take this serious. They need to be in a bubble. They got to be in an area where everyone is vaccinated. Everyone's getting tested. Let's be safe with this, because people are catching it left and right. And I hope going into the new year, hopefully they can figure something out. Like, I know the world is open, but the sport itself, you got to protect the fighters better.
Well said. Well said. Beeb, talk to us, man. First of all, what's your reaction to Chicolatito catching COVID? So now the Strata fight likely going to be postponed. And what do you think we can do to fix this? And I see some people saying there's a lot of training camps in the bubble, but they're not doing it the way they were doing it about a year ago. You know what I mean?
Well, obviously, I'm disappointed if anyone gets COVID, right? Especially a fighter that has a fight scheduled.
Except Trump. I was happy when I was playing the show.
If they can't fight, they can't put food, they can't make money and put food on the table. But you can't force people to get vaccinated. But I would strongly urge all of these fighters to get vaccinated because they're healthy individuals, right? If they get vaccinated, even if they contract COVID, they probably won't get bad symptoms. And they're saying now the CDC is if you're vaccinated and you get exposed to COVID and you don't have symptoms, then you should, probably just quarantine, they're saying for like 5 days, right? So the vaccine will help you get, will not, you can still get it, but you won't get as bad as symptoms and you may not get any symptoms and it'll shorten up your quarantine time, right? So at least at the very least, I would strongly urge, you can't make anyone, I know some jobs are mandating it, but I don't want to force it down anyone's throat. But if I'm a fighter, I would strongly, I'm vaccinated, but if I was a fighter, I definitely would be vaccinated because again, that's my job, right? My body is my job. I got to take care of my body. I got to give myself the greatest amount of protection against this virus. And I think the vaccine would does that. So that's the big thing for me is just strongly urging these guys to get vaccinated and try not to, be in areas like with large crowds. Don't go to clubs and stuff where people are on top of each other. If you're training, if you're training, try to keep your circle small, right? You don't need a whole ton of people coming in and out, and people who are coming in, make sure they're getting tested regularly and just try to stay on top of shit. Simple and plain.
Punch. Well, what's your reaction to Chocolatito catching Kobe, yet another fighter, right? And what do you think we can do to fix this? It's ruining our boxing schedule.
Hope my prayers that he gets well soon, just like everybody that catches this virus, this COVID. I do think that I agree with Wade. We got to go back to the bubble, but you know what I do know also, there is a bubble there, but the fighters choose not to. See, the Maloneys, they choose to be in the bubble. They chose to stay in the top rank facility so they could be safe and things of that nature. But these other guys, they don't want to be in the bubble. They want to be. They all said that it was like a jail. They don't want to be in there. So now they have to take the responsibility and watching out for themselves. They have to invest some money in those testing. Whoever's coming to their gym, and I think that's where they're not putting their money into their safety. Like if there was, under whatever promotional company, like a Top Rank, where here's the facility, you're gonna be here. We're going to check who's in and out. But if you want to be on your own and train on your own, then you have to be responsible and you have to pay for vaccination shots or whatever, COVID testing and things of that nature. And I think that boxers don't want to spend that type of money on that. So there goes the responsibility for the boxers. They got to take accountability for that. I just think, man, we still living in this time. It's a weird time. It's a weird time where you look at the news, you don't even know what to believe. You don't know who to believe. So I think a lot of people be like, yo, F it. I took the vaccination, the vaccination shot, whatever. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird, man. Now it's people that are vaccinated is getting it, It's like there is no protection. People don't want to live like they're locked up. Man, it's hard, but they really got to think about that. This is their money making. They fight, they get paid. This is what you need to do. You got to invest in being safe. Go to a cabin or something and get your sparring partners and get your nutrition and just be closed for a whole 2 months. And I think the boxers got to just find a new strategy, If you're really going to go in camp, you really got to isolate yourself and isolate everybody as well, family, everybody. You got to do it old school. You know what I'm saying? You don't see your girlfriend, you don't see your kids. It just got to be that way.
Go to the Poconos, like Lennox, right? Go to the Poconos. Go to Big Bear.
Yeah, like Bud does, Triple G does, all these guys.
Yeah.
You just gotta go isolate yourself.
Yeah, like Rocky in Russia.
Get the
Yeah,
bubble
that's
wrap.
right.
Get the body bubble wrap. Do whatever you gotta do.
Hey, do what you gotta
Do
do.
whatever you gotta do.
Yeah,
But
you
it's
know,
like
hey,
look at Tyson Fury. Like we see him, he was going from gym to gym, state, Miami, Cali, Vegas. He was just everywhere. He was
grappling
taking
with
pictures of everybody.
Diaz.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it was weird that Manny Pacquiao didn't catch it. Even in the press conference, he was the one without the mask. You know, so it's crazy. I don't know, man. Some people get it, some people don't. I don't know. Maybe it's in the water. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, G Funky. First of all, what's your reaction to Chicolatito? You know, it looks like the fight might be postponed, big trilogy. But also, what do you think we can do to fix this, man? Everybody's kind of touched on it, but what's your perspective?
Well, obviously, I was disappointed. First, I did a video about it yesterday when the news broke. But also, I hope nothing but the best for him. Hopefully, he doesn't have too severe symptoms from COVID. Some people get it pretty bad, end up in the hospital. Some people just, say, it wasn't so bad and things like that. So I just hope nothing but the best for him and his family. But I really don't know what it's going to take at this point, man, especially here in this country, because we're getting ready to go on almost 2 years now that this thing has hit the United States, and some people just don't get it. They still don't get it at this point, even people that are vaccinated, they still want to go out and act like things are back to normal, like this thing can't get them, but it can still get you. Especially this Delta variant that's spreading like crazy right now. The vaccine is not as effective against that variant as it is the regular one. So people still have to, be cautious. You have to follow the guidelines, try to stay away from people as much as you can. If you're out in public, wear your damn mask, wash your damn hands. Like it's funny to me. We still have to remind people to do this type of stuff, We got to get through this thing. Then you can go back to being a nasty motherfucker if you want after all this is over. All right. But as of right now, we need you to wash your damn hands and be clean, wear your mask, all that stuff. Like I'm really getting irritated with it, man. I really am, because like it's even affecting my job, where I work. People are getting it like crazy, and it's bad, man. People just really got to just say, look, man, let me just do what I got to do my part. Stop being selfish. Stop thinking about myself. Think about the next person. If you're sick, stay your ass home. Stop trying to I'm fine. No, man, stay home. Think about somebody else, Yeah, man, wash those damn hands,
I don't know if that's the whole thing, though. No, right? I think it's airborne. It's like
it's all of the above, man. Just be clean, man. Be courteous to others. I mean, I just don't understand how we're still telling people they got to wear a mask. Like they act like it doesn't work. Like, I mean, even a 5-year-old knows to cover the damn mouth when they sneeze and cough. Like, come on, let's just use our brains here when it comes to certain things. All right. So I just hope people buckle down once and for all so we can get past this thing. And if we have to go back to the bubble, fuck it, go back to the bubble,
I mean, look, I mean, I agree with a lot of what he said, obviously, but when it comes for these fighters, right? Like, I think they're washing. I think Chicolatito was washing his hands. I think that's fair to say. But, but I think I do like the idea of them just isolating themselves. That's old school stuff. But I think it's gonna work here. Like, I don't know. Should you be in a gym with 4 or 5 other fighters like that? Like, nah, just isolate yourself. Take 3, 4 sparring partners. Have them take the COVID test. Make sure they don't test positive, and boom. You know what I mean? And you could just have a training camp. Isolate yourself, or they need to really get strict with the bubbles. Like, I don't think there was one boxer in the Olympics that tested positive. Okay, and that's a lot of boxers. You know what I mean? And I know of how strict they were. They had them walking on freaking underground shit, and they were getting tested constantly. And so there was a procedure that they had in place, right? one country's team will train at the facility, and when they would leave, they will go disinfect it, and then the other team would go and train. Like you need something in place like that. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, right? Top Rank, you need to disinfect. Give me a call. You know what I mean? I'll take the money. I'll do it. Right.
But I also think knowing fighters, couple fighters that they ain't know the way they work out. I mean, this is a dangerous sport, and you want to prepare the best. You want to be comfortable. You want to prepare the way you used to, and I think that's why you saw Manny Pacquiao train exactly how he always trained. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. I'm getting in that ring. I don't care what's going on. I gotta prepare myself mentally and physically the way I know best. And I'm not gonna be closed down. I'm not gonna change my regimen. This is what I need to do. And I've spoken to fighters that be like, you know what, I need to do it like this. I'm not gonna go inside the ring and not train the way I'm used to training.
Psychologically too, if you're training in a bubble and you're all closed up, and it has an effect on you.
Yeah. It does. That's why Burchell lost. I mean,
people
lost.
We're human beings. We need to be around each other, right?
Yeah, it's like, look at what Jojo Diaz. I mean, everybody felt like it was a poor excuse, but he was like, I couldn't train the way I wanted to train. I couldn't cut weight the way I wanted to cut weight. So
it's I guess from a fan's perspective, it's hard to accept an excuse when your opponent had to go through the same thing. You know what I mean? Like his opponent was away from his family. He had to be in the bubble as well. Like all boxers, right? And I think that was the main reason he was, I think, criticized. You know what I mean? Jojo.
Yeah.
Just.
I think in my, being a hardcore boxing fan, I would just give the fighters the benefit of the doubt always, man. I'm always going to try to preserve.
Well, it's just like when I was in the military, some guys they adapted better to being away from their family. They could deal with it better than others. You know what I mean? I think. I totally understand what you're saying, D-Style, but it all comes down to the person's psychological makeup, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, man. That's true. Having a family does definitely change you, It
does change you, man.
But he's not the only fighter that has a family that has to go through the same thing.
I know.
I mean, everybody handles it different,
Yeah, maybe his bond is different.
It's different,
Like I know people that don't mind.
Maybe other fighters are just more mentally strong than him. Maybe that's what it is.
You can make that argument too. I mean, there's lots of arguments you can make, right?
Like you remember when Andre Ward said, which was the fight? I think it was Deontay Wilder, or I don't know. It was a fight where he's like, I don't even know why he got his wife in the back. Like that's it. Right. My family knows. My wife knows when it's time to go. You out there, like. And it was like it was weird.
I remember that. Yeah. You can't you go into war and you're hugging and kissing on a woman. You don't
can't do that, man.
Nah.
Can't do
that.
But
for other fighters, the fighters, Manny Pacquiao, Jinky, he could have in the back.
Yeah. Pacquiao be in the back, like singing karaoke to Jinky, like sometimes when we touch. Like, and then he goes out there and beats a dude's ass, you know what I mean? So hey.
Yeah, everyone's different, man. Like I know people that could spend days, weeks away from their family. Like me personally, I spend a day away from my daughter. Like I'm flipping out, So I mean, it's different for everyone, man.
Yeah, depends.
Well, I guess like everything's different, but I think a lot of these fighters have to make a certain sacrifice, And if that means being in a bubble, they got to do what they got to do, And.
But I think that's the word, the sacrifice. The biggest sacrifice is stepping inside the ring. So I need to really, when I'm working out, it needs to be the proper way so I could survive in that ring mentally and physically. So
I want to go ahead and go to this before I go. G-Funk, you had something to say?
No.
Okay. I don't know. I thought it. So last topic, guys. All right. Well, one more thing here. The good one. Right. Check it out. So Vitor Conte. Well, before I say that, I go to my Twitter timeline, right? I'm at work and I look at my phone and I'm scrolling and these styles just scrolling, right? What are people talking about in the sport of boxing? Like, Reynoso is the Reynoso camp. It's going to be the new Balco case, right? That's what I'm saying. Okay. I'm seeing Reynoso has all these dudes on steroids and PEDs. I'm seeing Neri tested positive under Reynoso. That's not even true. I'm seeing that Valdez and all these guys are on anabolic steroids. That's not true. He was caught with a stimulant, which he shouldn't have taken, and I've already gone on record saying he should have been stripped. Okay, and I think he should have been suspended. That's my opinion. But let's not call it something it's not. Okay, so I just want to make sure people understand that. But I keep seeing this and that, and then I'm seeing all these fighters with snack shirts on, like almost collectively calling out the Reynoso camp. Now, look, every individual has a right to have an opinion, right? So somebody out there, shout out to Blood Boxing, brother. I know you were talking about it. That's all good, okay? But you said we're making excuses. You heard what I said. I think he should have been suspended. I'm just not going to call it something it's not. That's number one, okay? But what I will say is this, all right? You said that you have a right to question Canelo if you want, and you do. I'm not going to argue otherwise. You can do whatever you want, okay? But if we're going to go by guilty by association, right? Now, not Blood, but some other individuals calling it like the new Balco case. What about the dude that ran Balco? What about that dude? What about him? What about Vitor Conte? Who, by the way, it's one thing if you said, but you know what, he cleaned up his act. He's like those hackers that end up working for the FBI, you know what I mean? They changed their ways, and now they're on the good side. You know what I mean? They joined the Jedi. You know what I mean? He's here to fight the evil people like Reynoso, trying to pass on the PEDs to people. You know what I mean? Inject them with the juice. D-style. Let me tell you guys something, okay? This dude, he's Willie Monroe, Andre Berto, and I know I'm forgetting somebody, have tested positive under this dude, okay? And he used to run Balco. And he claims he knows all about masking agents. He knows this and that. I ain't taking this dude's word. I can't take this dude serious. I don't think he means well. He's banned from any other sport. But you're going to take his word like gospel. So Vitor Conte's word is gospel. Dude's wearing snack shirts like it's nothing when there's already been fighters that have been popped, okay, with testosterone, like more serious shit in the sport, okay, than any Reynoso fighter, right? That is crazy to me, okay, and I want to know what you guys think. Beeb, I'll start with you, brother. What do you think? Is Reynoso camp the new Balco scandal that's about to come out? And is Vitor Conte a reliable dude to listen to?
Well, the whole thing with the Reynoso camp, it is a bad look that there have been 3 fighters. Okay, but you can determine whether or not you want to call that coincidence or not. But the thing about Conte is he's not a scientist, right? He's a bass player. He's a musician. Right, he had a lot of money, and he invested it into Balco, and he hired chemists and scientists to help him, formulate these products. It's not like he came up with these designer steroids himself or these designer PEDs himself. Problem I have with Conte is what he tries to do, and what he's trying to do is he's trying to embellish the effectiveness of these drugs and try to really make them sound worse than they are. And the reason why he's doing that is he wants to get attention, number one, and he wants to sell his fucking supplements. Simple and plain. And I'll tell you what this drug is classified in the medical community, because the doctors are not lining up with Vitor Conte on this drug. All right? It's called an anorectic drug because it's the greatest benefit that this drug provides you is its appetite suppressant properties. That's what it does. It fires those neurotransmitters, the norepinephrine, the serotonin, and the dopamine. The same fucking neurotransmitters that will be fired if you take Vitor Conte's Expedite. Because all stimulants, they fire the same neurotransmitters, right? Which cause you not to want to eat. And they will give you energy, but it's short-lived because the stimulants are in and out of your system quickly. This phentermine, you take a dose of phentermine, it's in and out of your system in a day and a half. So after that, what happens? The artificial energy that the drug gave you is gone. And what do you do to get it back? You got to take another one. So that's why WADA is like saying, you can take this in competition because by the time the fight comes, you can't take it. So you're not going to be able to get that burst of energy, right? It's like very similar to caffeine. You know, people are laughing at Mauricio Suleiman for what he said, but he's not that far off with his statements because, again, all stimulants pretty much do the same thing. They suppress appetite and they fire those neurotransmitters. But the problem is if you keep taking these stimulants and you develop a dependency on them, what happens is you burn those adrenal glands and those neurotransmitters out faster than you normally would, and you have a big crash. So there is a lot of negative side effects to taking these drugs. As I said time and time again, if you're already depleted, you're cutting calories, you're training hard, you're already putting that stress on your nervous system, and then you take a drug on top of that to put further stress upon that, you're going to have some negative outcomes, right? So I think Vitor Conte, my problem is he embellishes this shit, tries to say things. This is not a masking agent. Doctors have come out and said it's not a masking agent, right? And whether or not this is a performance enhancer, it's the jury's still out on that. And then he's trying to say, well, I've given my athletes phentermine. Really? I mean, this is a drug that doctors are giving to obese people, right? And you're going to give this to an athlete? There's so much better shit you can give to an athlete if you want to enhance his performance in place of phentermine. No athlete's taking phentermine, right, to enhance their performance. This was a last-ditch effort from a desperate man who was having problems making weight, and he took this drug for that very reason, in my opinion, right? Whether I know it's wrong, and by saying that, oh, Beeb, you're giving him a pass. No, I'm keeping it real. I'm giving you the science. I'm giving you the science. I'm going to listen to the doctors and the scientists. And I've dabbled in stimulants my life, and I've abused stimulants in my life. I know how they work. I know the positives and negatives to them. And there's more negatives than positives. Trust me, right? You're 205 and in a month you're down to 178. You ain't as effective as you were at 205. You're not pushing that same weight. You don't have that energy that you had at 205. All right. So Vitor Conte is trying to tell you that this is some fucking super drug, and it's not. It's just not. So he's full of shit because he wants to sell his supplements. PEDs all of a sudden are bad. Why? Because my supplements are fucking better. Come buy my supplements. Bullshit. Guys,
by the way,
the guy's a snake oil salesman, and if you take Expedite, right, it's going to fire the same neurotransmitters. His Expedite is loaded with fucking stimulants too. So what's the fucking...
And by the way, I mean, so let me get this straight. So his supplements enhance performance, but they're just legal, right? Is that what he's trying to sell it as?
Here's the big kicker.
Enhance your performance in a legal way, though.
Hold up. Here's the big kicker. Supplements are not regulated by the FDA. These drugs are. So you can do anything you want in a supplement pretty much, right? As long as you're not putting in, this illegal shit in it. But you can fuck around with supplements, right?
They push it to the limit too.
Push it to the limit because supplements are hurting. Supplements are hurting and killing these kids too. People were taking Rip Fuel and fucking dying too, right? People were taking Xanadrine and dying too. Right.
Really quick, I'm gonna let you continue, people, first, because this comment actually pertains to you.
I'm sorry, you got super chat. My bad.
But no, while this next comment pertains to you, but really quick, Big Dog with a appreciate support. It says if boxers aren't vaccinated and you catch COVID, no purse for you. He said, you know what I mean? Well, you don't fight if you get COVID.
Yeah. But that's the thing.
But he also said he says that you're wrong, and it says I have a scientist here in the living room. She's shaking her head at your rant, Beeb.
She should let her say. I mean, because. Then what's your counter argument? You're drinking a cup of coffee in the morning and you're releasing dopamine and you're releasing norepinephrine and you're releasing serotonin too by your cup of coffee. So what's the difference? With all due respect, what's the difference? Oh, well, this stuff's strong. Oh, really? That you could take a cup of coffee and then you could take some synephrine with it, which is legal, right? Then you can go buy some yohimbine, then you can go buy some yerba mate, and then you'll be jacked to the nines. You won't be sleeping for 2 days. So, I mean, stimulants are stimulants. They all do the same shit, right?
Man.
This drug is less of a stimulant. That's why they give it to people who are overweight, because they can tolerate this drug better. This is not a drug of choice for an athlete. Get the fuck out of here. This was a last-ditch effort from a desperate man trying to make weight. That's all it was, in my opinion. And I'm standing on that.
Let me just say one more thing before I pass it on, and I'll kind of shut up about it. At the end of the day, right? One thing I will say, I know Wada's saying that their argument is, because that's what they went with, right? The commission. Wada's rules behind it, which is if you don't take it 24 hours before the fight, we're cool. Because it's not an in-competition drug. That's what Wada said. That's kind of how they decided to do it. I will argue, though, that even if that's true, when you're trying to make weight in boxing, that is part of the competition. Like, that is in competition, in my opinion, which is why Sam informed that he should have been stripped. And
I agree. I agree. But here's the problem. Like I said, if I was a strength and conditioning coach, if I was a nutritionist, I would never give an athlete like Oscar Valdez this drug. A guy who's already, lean, a guy who's not obese, right? A guy who's already calorie restricting, a guy who's already training hard and putting his body under a shit ton of stress. This is the last drug I would give my fighter. This is the last ditch desperate effort to make weight. And he just did whatever he thought he could do to make weight. Right?
Yeah, I got you.
That's just my opinion.
Fair enough. Punch Drunk, aka Mr. Moonshine, talk to us. Okay, what do you think? That Snack and Vitor Conte, is his word gospel? Like, should we believe him?
He's trying to be the Jose Concecao. He's trying to be the Jose Concecao. He's the Pablo Escobar of PEDs, Look, I don't know, man. I'm not going to go into the scientific. I think y'all broke that down to a T. My opinion did that. And I'm learning. While y'all talk, I'm learning about these things because, look, I just feel like with boxing is like your baby, right? And you could talk so much ish about boxing, but then when somebody else talks about it, you be like, hey. Yo, I could say that this is wrong, but I don't trust you. You don't do nothing for boxing for me. Get out of here, man. Don't be talking down about boxing. If I'm gonna do it, not you. So that's how I feel about Vitor Conte. I just don't like. I think he's doing it for Snack, for his own company. I think he sees a opportunity where Plant is going to be fighting Canelo Alvarez. Everybody going to be looking at that fight.
Exactly.
And but everybody going to be looking at that fight. Snack is with Plant, and he's gonna make it seem like this guy is look what he's using. Look at that gym, and look at us. We're the real supplement users or whatever. I don't know, whatever. It's kind of cringy to think about it that way. And I think that's he's trying to capitalize off this moment. I think if Plant wasn't fighting Canelo Alvarez, you would not hear from Conte the way that you're hearing from him. Yeah, and I be in Twitter too. He's there constantly. It's 2:00 in the morning. He's tweeting about something. It's 5:00. It's in the afternoon. He's always tweeting about something. I don't know why he's so active.
He wants you to buy his supplements, Punch.
Yeah,
he wants you to buy his supplements. That's why he's on there.
Yeah, he's trying to
enhance your performance with supplements, right?
He's looking for advertising spots. He could, trying to sell his advertising spots to you.
Exactly.
Like Fight Hub.
Exactly. And the only reason why I said this in one of my videos, the only reason why I don't think that people do look at Snack is because the fighters that represent them are not this knockout artists and stuff like that. You got Boo Andre, you got Devin Haney, you got Kalen Plant. If you had Deontay Wilder, Javante Tank Davis, these knockout artists, they'd be like, yo, Snack, somebody's doing something with Snack. You see how these dudes are knocking everybody out? And I think this is why a lot of people just, when they think about Snack, yeah. Like, people know who he is, but this is when you know that boxing is the Wild Wild West, that we let you in. That's when you know the boxing is the Wild Wild West. We let you in when any other sport wouldn't even touch you, wouldn't be affiliated with you. Matter of fact, on your Twitter, you still got founder of Balco.
Right. It's still there. He's a good base player, though.
In his account, like, hey, guy, I'm the Balco guy. Like, he's proud of it or something like that. That's like me going with a resume and be like, the drug dealer from Harlem, shit like that. And and then I work here. Right.
No, there you go.
Yeah, I don't I don't trust the dude, and I'm not trying to cash. Yeah, you pay your dues to society, because I know a lot of people want to flip it that way. But what about how you feel about this person paying his debt to society? And
but he's virtue signaling right now, Punch. He's virtue signaling so he can make some dollars. That's what he's doing. It's virtue signaling.
Virtue.
Yeah, no giving pass. And I do think that, look, the rules are the rules. You're going to test these fighters. They're going to test positive. I think there got to be some consequences. I think there should be probably a strip, suspension, and things of that nature. I do think that Oscar Valdez should be punished. I do think so. What type of level of punishment? Then that's another question. I don't, and I agree with Jay. I just don't. I don't see it as cringy, as that serious as like anabolic steroids or HGH. Like they're trying to be like, look what they did to Gerald Miller. Yo, Gerald Miller is another case, bro.
The guy had a pharmacy in his system.
Do not compare no Gerald Miller to Oscar Valdez. But the rules are the rules, whether we like it or not.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree.
Got to be some consequences somewhere, because it's not a good situation. Even after the fight, even if Oscar Valdez wins and how he wins, people gonna be talking about it, right? If he loses, guess what? They're gonna be like, yo, see, he had to be taking something with the Miguel Burchett fight. You see, he's not that guy. He's not a machine. He's a man.
He's a man. That's right. Shout out to Duke. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Hey, Boxing Days, I appreciate always keeping it real 100. Boxing Love, fire. Chief Funky, really quick, brother. Anything you want to add as far as this, with Vitor Conte, the CEO of SNAC, formerly used to be, he used to run Balco. What's your thoughts? Should he be taking serious?
The Nicky Bonds of PED.
Used to be the former bass player for one of my favorite bands as well, Tower Power from Oakland. Shout out to Tower Power. I'm a big fan of Tower Power. I got a lot of their albums over here in my record collection. But anyway, it's there's a lot of things, man. I think most of it has to do with, like Punch said, he's got a fighter who's going against another fighter in the Reynoso camp. So again, they're going to try to throw dirt that way. Not only that, this guy has he's been cozying up with the people with VADA, Dr. Goodman, Dr. Flipomansky, those people who used to be ringside physicians in Nevada. They're the people in charge over there at VADA, and this guy's real cozying up with them. So I think the fact that VADA was involved and the commission decided to go with WADA, their guidelines, instead of VADA's guidelines, it pissed him off again. So now he's over there, ranting and raving. And I just find it real funny how the people who are, who are outraged at this whole thing, they always talk about cheating this, cheating that. And if you have a history of cheating, then you're always going to be a cheater. Well, I mean, this guy's got a long history of cheating, yet you want to take his word as gold now. Don't be that way, all right? Because I'm going to call your ass out about it.
I saw some in the comments say, G-Funky, hey, it takes a cheater to know a cheater.
Right.
I mean, like switched it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So by that logic, a lot of these dudes would love to see Tyson Fury do the testing in the future, right?
He loves the virtue signal. He loves the virtue signal, but if he never got caught, he would still be doing it today with the same shit he was doing back.
But go ahead and finish your point there, G-Funky. I apologize.
Yeah, it's just a lot of convenient arguments out there. I mean, they want to stomp all over and rant and rave about the WBC, yet a lot of these same guys were calling it the green belt, the most prestigious belt out there when a certain somebody had it, and now all of a sudden the WBC is the worst thing in the world. Like, keep this shit consistent, man. That's all I'm going to say. All right. And I agree with what Beeb said about the studies on it. There was already a report out there from a toxologist who said this is not a masking agent and that you shouldn't give it to someone that's physically fit. That's a doctor right there. That's a source from a doctor. So I'm through with it, man.
There you go. You know what I mean? Boxing Wave, what are your thoughts on, Vitor Conte, out here involved in boxing and involved with VADA and all that? Is he somebody we should be trusting here?
I mean, listen, you guys, it's so much to unpack because I've read a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of content on this topic. When I saw, his tweets, and I was like, well, his client is fighting Canelo Alvarez at the end of the day. So let's just remove him from this whole situation. As far as the camp is concerned, all being dirty. Listen, the way I look at it is like this. I think Valdez should, at least at the very bare minimum, if he's not going to get suspended, he should probably get suspended too. But if he's not going to get suspended, he should be stripped for the title, And I think, listen, unfortunately, when it comes to boxing, like my stance on it is, you know, when guys pop dirty, right? It's gonna follow you. People are gonna bring it up forever. It doesn't matter if you're clean later, like, you know, with the Canelo situation. I've seen a whole bunch of people, but the hair test, people bring it up. I'm like, no, people are gonna bring up stuff because that first initial test that popped, that A sample, the B sample, that is what always people are gonna always bring that up. All right. Now, as far as Vitor Conte, I mean, listen, he already, you guys already addressed his reputation, you know, being that his client is involved with this, whether these guys are really taking it or not, or maybe they're just wearing the t-shirts and maybe they're just promoting it for the commercials. I don't know if they're taking the product. I don't really care. All I know is that he's addressing it because his client is fighting Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo's a part of Oscar Valdez's camp, and they're going to bring it up. I just don't, I'm not really buying too much into it. It's just interesting because you're reading all like the extremist fans react to it, and everybody's that's biased is going to go with what they're going to go with. Oscar should have been stripped. If there's any outrage at all about this whole situation, I think that should be the only one thing that people should be outraged about. They shouldn't be outraged about what Vitor says. They shouldn't be outraged about Canelo or Eddie Reynoso or any of that stuff. All right. If people are going to question or raise an eye to that camp, I see why, because you know what? At the end of the day, us boxing fans, we don't trust anybody in the sport at this point. You know, so people are going to question this guy. It's going to happen, you know, but at the end of the day, the most important part in this situation is the belt is still being defended by the champion. And that's the one issue I have. And Vitor Conte is really he's irrelevant to me, you know, but we're making him relevant by making it all about what he's saying, you know. He has a product. I guess it's a legal product, and I don't know. He's selling it, whatever it is. If he wants to tweet, hey, I'll read it. Let me see what this guy, this guy knows his stuff. So let me see what he says. But it shouldn't, like, there's a bias here. Like, he's involved because he has a client that's fighting the opposition out there. And Canelo right now is the ops. So they're going to turn it into a whole Canelo camp thing. I'm not buying into it. You know, I just worry. I just want this. Another thing. This one last point. I'm getting tired of people that are just being lazy and irresponsible by saying, yo, they just might as well let everybody on PEDs. Just let everybody do it. You know, let's stop this whole testing and stuff. If everybody's juiced, we can get the fights that we want. I'm tired of people. I hear that every single time someone pops dirty. Someone out there is saying that, you know, with the amount of people that's passing away from the sport, dying from the sport. It's just like, what other more advantages? It's already a dangerous sport. Why we need people to be juiced up, you know? So I'm tired of that too, but that's my views on it, man.
Don't you find Don't you find it a coincidence that it was that Devin Haney, Plant, and Vitor Conte was the hardest ones to go at this situation in Twitter at simultaneously?
Yeah, I forgot that. I didn't see. Did Andre say something too? Maybe he did. I know Devin Haney did. Oh, wait, question, you guys.
Josh Taylor said something too, but
who's the third fighter that's part of that camp that got
Julio Cesar Martinez, the flyweight.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I forgot about him.
I always forget about him too.
And some people are saying Ryan Garcia because he has a six-pack now. So
right,
yeah,
wait for Andy Ruiz to pop. Like, I mean, it's insane, man.
Yo, they're looking at Andrew Reese, how he lost all that weight. Now they're trying to say he's on some shit.
Yeah, well, it didn't help him. That's for sure. He needs some of that weight back.
He didn't look so great, did he? I mean,
yeah. But that's what I will say. Hey guys, it's been a great show. You guys know where to find Ringside Reporter with Joe Habib, Ringside Reporter here on YouTube. You know where to find G Funky Boxing. All right, Punch, give us some quick final words, bro, before we got to go.
Nah, man. Boxing is good. Boxing is great, man. Stay off the drugs, and kids don't do drugs, man. Follow the rules. Subscribe to everybody on the panel. And thank you for having me on the panel, my brother, man. Boxing is life.
There we go. There we go. Boxing Wave. Final thoughts,
Yo,
brother.
it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Check me out. Subscribe to the channel Boxing Wave. Hit me on the Twitter and the Instagram, the app Boxing Wave 10. And you'll see me back here. I always join up every once in a blue. It's always a good time. And subscribe to everybody else here too. Good channels, good conversation. Love the night. We always have a good time, man.
Yeah, thanks for everybody coming on. I know it's late out there in the East Coast. You know what I mean? It's just 8 o'clock over here, but I'm about to go chill, have some beer, some modelos, and all that good stuff. This is
7
D-Style
o'clock here.
Yeah, there we go. D-Style Boxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out of here. Peace out, guys.